This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good day, welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. In your headlines today, VP Jagdeo admits that citizens forced governments in US and UK and Canada as well to get more benefits from oil companies, but says doing this in Guyana would breach contract with Exxon. Government ignores experts and set to renew Exxon's Liza 1 permit. Darren Wood says Guyana's oil critical for Exxon's increased global production. And 1 dead and 1 injured in quarantine accident. Autopsy shows crane teacher died from head injuries. Vice President Jagdeo insists more bad than good surrounding national oil companies as government considering shareholder rights only. Get the full details of these stories and more after the break.
Not a single bar of service.
Not with us. Digicel officially has the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the network with the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Be it in Georgetown or in NI, we got you covered. Digicel, better together.
And now for the news in detail. Vice President Bharat Jagdeo on Monday conceded that it was the agitation of citizens of countries such as the US and Canada that forced those governments to increase their royalties charged to oil operators and the one-off tax slapped on those companies in the UK. Canada recently moved to increase its royalty charge to between 5 and 40%. The US in December last raised its royalty rate higher than the 18.7% it had been receiving, while the UK slapped a one-off 25% tax on the oil companies there. Speaking at a press engagement at the office of the president on Monday, the vice president told members of the local media that the windfall tax that some countries are exploring only came after intense pressure from their populations. He quipped that in some cases this was not being done willingly but was the government bowing to the demands of its citizenry. The vice president went on to explain, however, why this could not be replicated in Guyana, since we are bound by a PSA with very specific terms on the taxation side. Meanwhile, the environmental permit that was handed to Esso to develop and produce crude oil from the Liza 1 field in the Stabroek Block expires today, but according to the Vice President, notwithstanding pleas to the contrary, the instrument would be renewed. He told operatives, there has been a lot of people internationally and locally who have been urging the EPA not to renew the permit for the Stabroek Block. To this end, he lamented that such a move would effectively shut down the production of oil and gas in the country. Having confirmed that the permit will be renewed, the vice president noted that there would be some changes, but only spoke of an increased fine for flaring, which was last earmarked at $45 per every ton of natural gas flared above permissible levels. In other news, ExxonMobil has in recent years positioned itself as one of the largest international oil companies in the world, and with its recent dumping of assets across the world, the company is eyeing critical operations in order to meet its projected targets, while earning a decent profit for shareholders. This is according to its CEO, Darren Woods, who during a company's annual meeting of shareholders this past week reiterated that in the near term, ExxonMobil is increasing production of the energy resources and products the world needs. He cited as example, in Guyana the company has 2 oil fields in production and 2 more in development, and made new discoveries that increased the estimated recoverable resource to nearly 11 billion barrels of oil equivalent. During that meeting, it was noted that future plans include structural cost savings of $9 billion per year by 2023 compared to 2019 and more than $15 billion of investments through 2027 on initiatives to lower greenhouse gas emissions. Meanwhile, attorney-at-law Elizabeth Hughes has asked CARICOM to intervene in the gas-to-energy project, which is being pursued in part by ExxonMobil. In a letter dated May 28, the CARICOM Secretary General, Dr. Carl Barnett, the attorney requested, among other things, that the Caribbean stand together to stop Guyana from falling into a rule of law conflict, which she said may lead to other issues, including a constitutional crisis. He was informed that the residents in the area, described as primary stakeholders, were not consulted prior to the submission of the environmental impact. And now let's tell U.S. government continues to consider introducing a national oil company with a strategic investor versus the auctioning off of its remaining offshore oil blocks to interested parties. One of the main variables to determine the establishment of this company is whether Guyana will still be able to significantly increase its revenue from other streams such as its PSA. This was underscored by Vice President Jagdeo. He submitted that there seems to be a lot more cons and a few pros when examining existing NOC models globally. As such, the state is considering an NOC with the model outside of the ordinary setup. He said that in contributions pertaining to the development of the NOC, questions continue to be raised about the time it would take to develop one, the overload on domestic capacity, and the corruption that usually is associated with these entities. The time is now 12 hours 8 in Guyana. We'll take a short break and return with more news.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let's continue with the news. A post-mortem examination conducted on the remains of Omega Alt, the teacher whose decomposing body was found in her Crane, West Coast Demerara home last week, revealed that she died as a result of brain hemorrhage and multiple traumas to the head. The decomposing body of the 41-year-old woman was found on Friday, around 17 hours by her brother. Police noted that Alt was living with her husband, Clarence Farley, and their 3-year-old son, and that the couple was encountering problems in their marriage. It was reported to the police that earlier that week, Farley had taken their son to Alt's sister in Diamond on the east bank of Demerara and informed her that he was going into the back dam. Farley has not been seen since. Police have issued a wanted bulletin for him. Meanwhile, an accident on the number 63 Village Public Road, Quarantine, Berbice, has left one person dead and another injured. Dead is 26-year-old Kevin Alert, while the injured person is Alert's 21-year-old cousin, Niklaus Johnson. It was revealed at around 22 hours 50 on Sunday, Alert, while reportedly speeding in a motor car in a southerly direction, crashed into a concrete culvert as he attempted to navigate a turn. The vehicle then slammed into a utility pole before coming to a halt beside the public road. Johnson, who was in the front passenger seat, and Alert were removed from the badly damaged car by public-spirited citizens who took them to the Skeldon Hospital. They were shortly after transferred to the New Amsterdam Hospital, where Alert was pronounced dead on arrival, while Johnson was admitted. And moving on, Guyana continues to see a weak implementation of its Tobacco Control Act of 2017, some 5 years after it was enacted. This is according to advisor to the Minister of Health and chair of the Presidential Commission on the Prevention and Control of Non-Communicable Diseases, Dr. Leslie Ramsamy. In a statement issued on Saturday, Dr. Ramsamy explained that despite the efforts by the Commission to reduce the risk of tobacco use, the use of the cigarette product continues unabated. Ramsamy noted nevertheless that the Commission, during its third and fourth meetings in March and May 2022, committed to intensifying its effort to lead the fight against tobacco and tobacco product use in Guyana. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health on Monday reported that the fully vaccinated 59-year-old woman from Region 4 who contracted COVID-19 has died. The man died on Monday while receiving treatment at a medical facility. The country's COVID-19 death toll has now moved to 1,234. The ministry revealed that within the last assessed 24-hour period, health authorities recorded a total of 11 new cases across the country, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 64,060. That should be 64,628. And as usual, we turn the pages of today's Kaieteur News to page 7. We must all stand up and fight. While the world ceased to be concerned about the future of Guyana and its people, the exact opposite could be said for the country's leaders.